Where have I been? Let's talk about it. So I've gotten lots of DMs since I've been back posting on social media with people saying, "Welcome back. We're glad you're back." And what I realize is I never told you why I left. So let me tell you now. And better yet, I wrote it for you all. I'm going to read you an excerpt of my upcoming book / journal. Um, and this will give you some answers that you're looking for. At the start of 2023, my life hit a breaking point. The writing was on the wall. I was going to lose my apartment. I've been late on rent 4 times this year, and my leasing office had already let me know there would be no renewal. The shame of it was overwhelming. Every late payment felt like a neon flashing light that said, you're failing, Daisha. And instead of facing the reality of my situation, I threw myself deeper into the hustle. I convinced myself that if I just worked harder, pushed a little more, everything would magically work out, right? I believed in God. I prayed, I meditated, but no amount of grinding was enough. My business revenue had been dwindling for months. And no matter how many courses I added, how many communities I built, how many strategies I tried, it was not working. Okay? My heart broke a little more each time I checked my banking account. Each time, knowing I'm pouring my heart and my soul into this business, and it was not giving me anything in return. Then came the day that changed everything. Walking up to my apartment after leaving a pop-up, I saw my life scattered across the lawn. Boxes of memories piled next to my clothes, to furniture, and everything else I worked so hard to keep together. And then my boys, both towering over me, over 6 feet tall, stood there stunned in silence, just trying to make sense of what had just happened. My grandson touching my shoulders, his innocent little voice breaking, said, "Grandma, why is our stuff outside? Is this our new house?" That was it. That was the gut punch. The moment when I felt the word failure stamped across my forehead. If failure had a smell, it was the damp grass under my feet. If it had a sound, it was the whispers of neighbors watching from their windows. And if it had weight, it was pressing down on my chest, threatening to bury me every second. Then came the car. I packed everything I could into a U-Haul, parked that U-Haul behind the shopping plaza, and for the next 2 nights, me and my boys slept in the car. When I say slept, I really mean tried. Imagine 3 people cramped in a mid-sized SUV. My son's over 6 feet, folded up like a pretzel. My grandson folded like a pretzel, legs pressed against the window, while I curled up in the driver's seat. The air was so thick and stuffy, every breath a reminder of how confined we were. We barely spoke. There was nothing to say. The shame sat heavy in the silence. Each morning I woke up stiff and aching, pretending to be mom, strong, composed, and capable, when all I really wanted to do was cry. They asked me questions I didn't have answers to. What's the plan? And all I could say was, I'm working on it, even though I had no idea what I was working on. Then came the luxury hotel. Despite, everything that was going on, desperate to fix it, I made a decision that I thought would turn things around. I spent $600. Yeah. $600, money that I already didn't have, on a luxury hotel in the city. It had a stunning view, floor to ceiling windows, plush bedding. I mean, it felt like the clouds, okay? And remember, we was just in the car for 2 days, so that bed was amazing. All right? I told myself it was an investment into my mindset. I thought if I surrounded myself with luxury, I could manifest my way out of this mess. But instead of content creation and miracles, I spent most of the weekend in a king-size bed crying. My son's words kept replaying in my head. Why didn't you just get a job? Why do you keep going so hard for this company? He was right, but I couldn't admit that to myself. My pride wouldn't let me. Getting a job felt like failure. Didn't I leave a job in Miami? And now I have to get one? My pride wouldn't let me. It was like admitting I couldn't make my business work. I stayed in the room, staring out at the city lights, wondering why I couldn't figure it out. The guilt was unbearable. My sons were dependent on me, and I had just wasted $600 that I just earned the day before at the pop-up, trying to buy my way out of my own limiting beliefs. Then came the Motel 6. When the weekend ended, I had to check out of the luxury hotel. It really hit me like a freight train too. I had nothing left. I could not afford another luxury hotel even if I tried. I found a Motel 6 nearby, $500 a week, and I moved us in. It was the kind of place where you didn't want to touch the walls and the smell of bleach barely masked like the odor that was there. The bedspread was thin, scratchy, carpet stained with the stories that so many other people told before us. It was not home. It was survival. And for 6 months, that room became our world. 3 people. My sons and grandsons sharing the bed, while I slept on a rollaway cot in the corner. Each inch of that space reminded me of how far I had fallen. Nobody knew. The sounds of people arguing through the walls, the hum of the vending machine outside, fluorescent lights just flickering. It was a constant reminder that I wasn't where I wanted to be. I wasn't where I knew I should be, I could be. This was not me. I sold books out of the trunk of my car, made just enough to keep us afloat, just enough to keep paying for the room. And I hid the truth from everyone. I still showed up online. I still taught classes. I still held masterminds. I still showed up at events in the city. Smile for the camera, pretending like life was good. Then came the turning point. 4 months living into this hotel, I finally got a job. I thought I was fooling people until a friend called me, out of the blue, and she said, "I love you." I tried to keep it casual, but then she said, "I know where you're living, and I want you to know it doesn't change how I feel about you. My door is always open." That broke me. For the first time, I felt seen, not as a failure, but as someone worthy of love and compassion, even in my mess. Yeah. Here is when I had to unmask the real truth. The moment was, that moment, that phone call was a wake-up call. I realized I had really been wearing a mask, not just for other people, right? But for myself. I convinced myself that pride, struggle, and sacrifice were badges of honor, when in reality, they were chains holding me back. It was time to unmask my truth, confront the lies I've been telling myself, and rebuild. The money from that old company gone. The house sold. That money gone. This business you're pouring all your money into, giving you nothing back in return, not enough to support yourself. I convinced myself that this job was temporary. It was, something that I needed to do to make sure that we could even stay in this Motel 6. There were days when I stumbled, when I wanted to give up. Each step forward, I felt myself growing stronger. Each journal entry reminded me of my resilience and helped me uncover the lies I've been telling myself. The lie that I wasn't good enough, that asking for help meant failure, and that I had to struggle to succeed, that I had to hustle to succeed. Looking back now, I can see that rock bottom really wasn't the end, but it was the foundation. See, I had been through an eviction before, but never had my things thrown out of the door. See, I had lost money before, but never got to the point where I couldn't sufficiently support my family. See, I had lost friends before, but never so publicly where people tried to tarnish my name and my reputation. See, I had lost business before, but never to the point where I wanted to give it up altogether. This was a new breaking point. This was a new rock bottom, and I had never been here before. Everything stripped away just to rebuild myself, piece by piece. Here's the thing about unmasking the truth. It forces you to confront the lies that you've been running with your whole life. My biggest enemy wasn't my circumstance, or wasn't what someone had done to me online, or people leaving my business and not supporting. It was me. It was the limiting beliefs that I had carried for years that I allowed to creep back up. It was me. And the only way I was going to rebuild my life was to put it back together, piece by piece, but this time on truth, on my beliefs, on my principles. Out with the old, in with the new. So you wanted to know why I left. I had to lose that Daisha so that you can experience this one. And now I'm back, healed, better than ever, and ready to do what I was created to do. Ready to finish fulfilling that purpose and helping other women like you figure out what your purpose is, heal, and walk through this world like the goddess that you are. So if you got any questions for me, if you want to know more, if you want to know what I did, here's 2 things you can do. 1, go ahead and pre-order my book, Girl, You're the Shit. It'll be out next month. 2, join me on live tomorrow, and I'll answer all your questions. Peace.